Hi everyone. Hope you're doing amazing. Hope you're having an amazing Friday evening. Uh, I'm Alap. I'm your host for the teardown today. Please tell me if you can hear me clearly in the chat section down there and see what you're expecting today. We have folks from Plum joining in today, Saurabh and Anisha, and it's going to be, I think, amazing. It's going to be an amazing experience. I'll give you a little background about TPF. Yes, I can see a lot of people who are telling us, like you can hear me clearly. If there's any problem in the interim, feel free to put down in the chat, and happy to take that up. Uh, Thanks so much for joining on the Friday evening. I'll give you a little background about what we do at TPF, and then we'll take it forward from there. So TPF, as you all know, this is the product focus, is a volunteer-driven organization for product managers, product enthusiasts, and product leaders. We host a lot of cohorts in terms of, so our motto is you come for a content team, you stay for the community. We are right now 150,000 plus members strong community across channels. We have Slack, we have multiple social channels as well. Uh, this is one of the initiatives which we bank on. This is one of the best initiatives which we do every month with amazing companies. Today we have Plum with us. Product Teardown is an initiative where companies present their own problem statements, and the participants have to break down the product and present a solution deck. Product Teardown is an initiative by the product folks to enable product managers and aspirants with a platform to showcase their product learnings. This edition of Teardown is with none other than Plum. I've been a big fan of Plum ever since I think these folks launched back in 2020, if I'm not wrong. And uh, I'll give you a little background about Plum, and then I'll bring Saurabh and Anisha. They'll give you a little more background about Plum as well. So Plum is a cutting edge HR tech firm platform that offers simplified insurance and health benefits that are inclusive and accessible to all the employees across the organization. In the meantime, I'll bring Anisha and Saurabh to the stage, and they'll give you a little more background about that.
Hey, hi, everybody. Alap, how many folks we are here in the attendance today?
Uh,
We're not
we
able to
have
see.
we're not able to see. I think I'll get to it. Probably we have around say 50 plus people who have already joined.
Gotcha. Very cool. Very cool. Hey, hi everyone. Good evening. This is beginning of the long weekend. Uh, let's hope we end it with very interesting three presentations or five presentations that we'll go through, and then you could have a long weekend and reflect. So let me quickly give you an overview of what we do at Plum. Uh, Plum is a employee health insurance and a healthcare startup. We've been here in this for last 3 years. We have close to 3,000 companies who have chosen Plum as their employee health insurance and healthcare benefits partner. And we have close to about 500,000 users who are underinsured with Plum. As you would see today, and along with me, I also have Anisha, who's the PM for healthcare. And the challenge that a lot of folks in product community today will go through is something which Anisha had built with the engineering team. And this is a real problem. We thought when the product folks community reached out to us, we thought it's a great opportunity to share a real problem and get some really good insights from every one of you. And we go back and build it with all your help. So we are really looking forward to what we have in store today. But I just want to welcome on behalf of Plum and product folks. Welcome everybody.
Thanks so much, Saurabh, for an amazing intro. I think we have someone in chat whose company uses Plum, and that's where you found some fans in the chat as well. Uh, in the meantime, I'll give everyone a little background about little summary about the problem statement as well, so you can relate to all the presentations which are coming along. The problem statement is the Plum faces a challenge where 5% of scheduled consultations in a month result in patients failing to show up, while 14% of consultations are explicitly cancelled by patients. Given that patients, employees of companies that have paid for the telehealth service, do not have to pay for the product, how can they bring down the no show rate to 1% and the cancellation rate to 5%? So this is the background of the problem statement we have. I Usually we have some spinning the wheel kind of a thing where we choose which team gets to present first, but somehow with some tech difficulties we couldn't get that today. So I'll give everyone a little background on what the sequence of the presentation will be. First will be Yash Jain and Gayatri Suhas. The next one will be Yashika Dhankar. The third one will be Sugato Banerjee. Fourth one will be Mahvish Kadri, and the last one will be Arbia Naz. I'll give you. So this is the sequence we'll do. Majorly, it will be 5 minutes plus 2 minutes. It's a total 7 minutes presentation where you'll be able to. Will give you an intimation that 5 minutes are over. You have 2 minutes to wrap up your presentation. Post that, one thing which is necessary for everyone is that you have to switch your camera on. Both the participants will have to switch their cameras on when they're presenting. uh, and in the meantime, so what we'll do is, once your I call out your name on the live, you can raise your hand and I'll bring you on the stage and you can share your screen. uh, so first is Yash Jain and Gayatri Suhas. In the meantime, Saurabh, till people raise their hand and they come in, uh, can you give a little background about, like, this Plum was, I think, born just after COVID or just before COVID, something in the same uh, timeline. So what was the idea behind starting that?
Yeah, sure. And I could give you a quick background of how we started, and maybe Anisha tell us how we built the telehealth as well, or why we decided to build telehealth too. So we started before COVID. We didn't know that the COVID was coming. And our bet was that health insurance, India is a very underpenetrated country when it comes to health insurance. And the way our GDP, the way our economy is growing, there is no way we will remain underpenetrated. However, how the companies procure insurance benefits, how they procure healthcare benefits, or how they think about their employees who are building world class products, but how do we take care of them? These were the challenges where we saw that procurement was very difficult. It was a very negotiation led, untransparent, non transparent industry. It's from a product marketer lens, product manager's lens. You could think that it's a very large market. It's a huge TAM. It's a very fragmented market because there is about 40 insurance companies, 400 traditional brokers, 4,000 corporate mom shops, pop shops, agents. And so this is a lot of fragmented space, very large TAM, and a very low NPS, right? So very low customer experience and low trust in the system. So this looks like a great space for any tech company to come and intermediate how a health insurance is procured, sold, and experienced. And there was our opportunity to come in. But this is our starting. But how did we start healthcare? Like,
That so we started during COVID. So and again, we didn't know that COVID was coming, but we saw an opportunity for because we were an insurance solution which was helping a lot of our employees during the time of need, especially with claims and COVID claims. We realized that it was like first principle, the best way for us to expand into healthcare. And telehealth was the obvious solution. So we started a very scrappy, hacky version of it when we were using Google Sheets and Calendly to do these consults for almost about 10 to 12 months. And it was like a way to validate whether this is something that is going to sell and people are going to use. And we started seeing almost 50, 60 consults, I think month three onwards. And then we went to a good 100 consults a day during peak COVID, which was high given the fact that we were not 500,000 insured lives then, or we were not 300 K employees covered then. We were still like gaining momentum in the market. And I think what ended up happening was it was like a very small ops heavy team of 3 4 people running this, and then we realized that we could actually onboard about 50 doctors, and try and hit at least a minimum of 150 consults a day every day, from the moment we launched, because we already had those numbers coming in. So we just recently went in and integrated with a doctor management system, and built our app on top of it to basically facilitate this entire process. And that's the story of telehealth. And we've just launched. It's been a quarter,
Yeah,
and there's so many more to go. So
that's amazing.
it's been fun.
Thanks so much, Saurabh and Anisha, for sharing. Like when you started, it was like, how big was the team and how has the journey been ever since? As you said, one of the biggest thing I loved about from the recent days was that you folks in the feature of using AI to understand your policies. That was something super cool. So
Yeah,
how do you think that will be very interesting for users?
sure, absolutely. Hey, how many people are we here in the audience? I'm
I think we have 100 plus
not
people here right now.
okay. Pretty cool. Um, Yeah, so look, like you start, every team is like a very small team when you start. So I could give you a little more about our product engineering teams, and to start with. So we are a total of about close to 40 product engineering team, including design, and we are about four product managers, uh, about close to 25 to 28 engineers. We have four designers, and we have a two user research team members as well. So our uh, builders stack, what we call here, is sort of a four departments, including design, user research, engineering, and product. Overall, the organization today stands at about 300 people,
Oh, that's
and we have departments of sales, marketing, product marketing as well, which reports to marketing, to account-based marketing. We have customer success, customer support, claims teams, and back office administration or endorsement teams as well, partnership teams. So it's a full stack organization, which sort of um, uh, like how I described across the disciplines. Another thing which you asked about was around policy GPT.
yeah.
So it's a recent a project that we launched, and we are still releasing out to our customers. We are phasing out the release as we open up this feature. It's an experimental feature. This allows, imagine you could talk to your policy, right? So you could open Plum's app, and start chatting with your 40-page boring policy document. And this bot is an education bot where you can learn about inclusions and exclusions, what's covered, what's not covered, what insurance jargons are. And the team here at Plum has worked extremely hard to make sure that this technology doesn't hallucinate or doesn't give inaccurate answers. So we had to really tighten up our systems to ensure that we get high accuracy there.
That's amazing. Uh, I think we are still, yeah, I think we have Yashika here right now. We'll bring her on
Awesome.
stage. Perfect. Hi, Yashika.
Hello, hi everyone.
Thanks so much.
Hi, Yash.
Uh,
Uh, Hi Saurabh, hi Anisha. Thank you Anisha for like the so much valuable like stats and everything. You answered our questions like very wonderfully. I just love that.
Perfect. Thanks
Of
so much.
course.
Let's keep this a little quick. I think we are a little behind on time as well. Yashika, would you mind sharing your screen quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect.
Hey, is it visible?
Yes, it's visible. You can go to the full screen mode, and
Yeah.
I'll start the timer post that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go
So hello
ahead.
everyone. This is Yashika Dhankar. and let's just get started. So everyone knows about the problem statement. I'm not just going to repeat it because very little time. Just the gist, like we have to convert 14% of present cancellation to 1%. We have to reduce it to 5%, and 5% of no-show rate to 1%. So assumptions I'm taking in, only going to focus on Plum telehealth section, and target and problem statement both are talking about acquired customer in after scheduling and before consultation phase. So our focus would be there only, and considering the given prototype by Plum, and gonna focus on the patient side rather than on the doctor side. And so this would be the timeline of deck. Proceed ahead. This is just about Plum. So their mission is to create happier, more fulfilling workplaces by optimizing talent management. Few services which I like have researched from their website, and some stats like the age distribution, gender distribution, which I like really love personally. Just like more to go to females. Main competitors are Loop Health, Xyla, Collective, and other indirect competitors are there also. So in customer journey, in pre-consultation phase, which we're gonna focus on, after scheduling the appointment and before appointment, user might cancel, reschedule the appointment if something comes up and couldn't join. User can upload previous health record or prescription. For appointment, user get push notification, reminder on WhatsApp and emails, etc. So I'm going to focus on main this thing for potential consultation and profit. Target audience is whoever using the service, and mainly directly or indirectly, which includes employee and dependents. Dependent would be parents, spouse, children, sibling, and pet. So user data provided by Plum, 65% booking were actually like made for self, the employee, and most of the cancellation was also for self. And even in the age demographic, we can see 1980 to 2000, these two main parameters are there, which cancelled or not showing up for the appointment. So user persona, I'm not gonna go into the depth of it, but there's busy working mom, a mom, health conscious millennial, young caregiver. They have their own pain points and why they need Plum, and they have dependents also, except health conscious millennial who is single. So problem number breakdown is, I'm going to only focus on cancellation and no shows, not reschedule phase. So in cancellation, 14% major chunk of that is user who did for first time canceling for the first time. Even in no shows, major chunk are who is like not showing up for the first time. And diagnosis, why they are doing it. So actually I asked few people, 25 people around, so who have like experienced these kinds of things. So there are few reasons like this, like they don't require the session anymore, maybe busy, or unavailability of person who knows how to set up the call, or just forgot about the call, and few such reasons. So solutions are WhatsApp nudges. So we can nudge some behavior of patient in area of motivation, to join and to trust building, be cared for, sense of responsibility. Offer some incentives, rescheduling option, easy rescheduling option, so that they cannot, they wouldn't cancel much if they still need it. And follow up messages, and the messages for being, make them accountable for users who are canceling more or more than twice. After GP, psychology sessions are canceling, like number have cancelled, like number is huge for cancellation. So we can provide some reminder nudges, social proof nudges, like 9 out of 10 patients who attend their telehealth appointment find it helpful. Incentive nudges, find them, give them resources, free mindful exercises, choice nudges. And we human, as we have this like focus on loss aversion. So loss aversion nudges, follow up after nudges these. Welcoming video from doctor or Plum team member to warm them up, to give their anxiety, doubt, and fear a rest. WhatsApp number integration of dependent, because in and plus there's this new feature also so that employee can also add himself in dependence appointment, because in real life also we just don't go to alone to a doctor, we need someone with us as a family member, so it should be there on the online call also. And QR code to integrate WhatsApp, For example, if dependent is also getting the messages, reminder, resources. Sorry.
2 minutes left.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So share link on WhatsApp, and join consultation links so that they get directly on their WhatsApp, and it would be easier to join for them. If we don't want to share WhatsApp link, or don't give want to give the feature there, we can also opt Google Meet feature. No to self medication. Most of us Indian are actually tend to medicate ourselves. Like if I have fever, I'll take Dolo or something and will not go to a doctor, not consult. Language selection for WhatsApp communication, prescription token. As we know, time is money, and so we can provide some tokens if they join on time, and if they do not cancel their appointment and show up on time. So they can convert these token into discount for their prescription, selected prescription. Reminders and automatic call, opt-in, and the Plum call. They can directly schedule their appointment on Google Calendar. They can put reminder according to themselves, and they can also opt in for automatic reminder call, and Plum call also, that so that use dependent also getting the direct call, and they wouldn't have this option of like they forgot about the call. And the infamous second opinion, and why not? Like if I'm feeling better in therapy thing, or in normal fever, I tend to not take the appointment because I'm feeling better, or I contacted doctor offline. So one sec. Yeah. So I might, but if there's an option to convert to second opinion, then the doctor and the patient both know that patient is already feeling better. He's just there for the second opinion, and it would create the healthy temperament among the user. And just some more suggestion: prioritization. I'm going to prioritize both high impact quadrants, and
Yashika, we
yeah,
are running out of time. I think we'll open
just
up for questions now.
yeah, just two
Uh,
seconds.
no, no,
It's
we'll
almost
open
done.
up for the questions now for the judges.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Hey, Yashika, this was a great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much
Uh,
for the opportunity. Actually,
can you tell us a little about yourself?
yeah. So actually, I've done my graduation in pharmaceutical sciences and research, and then I got actually into YC startup. This was the tech healthcare startup. So we actually, like, it was a 0 to 1 journey, and we actually put everything up, and so now it's like in a good term. And after 1 year, I actually wanted to go into product role and everything. So I thought I might start my something of my own, or because I had these ideas related to health, doctors, telehealth, and everything, or I might go into some other company so that I had more vision related to this. So yeah,
Got it, got
overall.
it, got it. I have a couple of questions,
Yeah.
and Anisha, you could follow then. So one is, what was a most interesting insight from the data that you got, and think of like non-obvious insight where you looked at the data and you said, okay, this changes how I was thinking about the solution.
Okay, so actually, a few of were very common, and plus, Anisha were also mentioned don't require kind of data and everything, but fear or anxiety, overwhelmness, and if someone the main person is not there with them in house or somewhere else, then they cannot take the appointment. They are like, if dependents are there, they just might need someone with on call to set up the call, or just to talk what is happening to them. Like even they can sometimes people are even afraid to convey what sickness they have, or maybe they are not just feeling well, or so these kind of little bit data I couldn't thought of it. I was just thinking about, okay, they might forget about the call, so what about reminders could be there. So but it was very normal things. But what about the psychology and in-depth thing? So it was kind of the data which I actually came up after few questions and few research. So yeah.
Oh wow, sorry. We really value your approach of how you thought about that psychotherapy or mental health consultations were the second highest consultations which were getting through PNS, the patient no shows and cancellations,
Yeah.
and you thought about that only for those consultations. What could be the product nudges or how we could change our communication, because a lot of people are in any way thinking mental health is stigma, and
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it is just distracting them to, or it is encouraging, they are not being encouraged to come and talk to a therapist, and there is a lot of cancellations that's happening because of that. So really, we really value your thought there. Very good work there. Anisha has some questions for
Thank
you.
you so
Yeah.
much.
I also like the idea of actually both of us really like the idea of the doctor introduction, which is maybe like in terms of even whether it's a product inclusion or a product marketing activity that we take up. I think that's a very these are high stress times that you want to kind of calm a patient down. So
Right.
that was one. Hey, can you explain the third pointer you spoke about? So one thing I could pick up from your WhatsApp integration was that you want WhatsApp notifications to go to the dependents about the call. Can you tell me what exactly is the solution that you're thinking beyond that? Are you trying to say that both dependent and employee can be joining the call together at any point?
So yeah. So actually, first point is on the while I'm filling for the appointment, like who's this appointment for? So if I'm an employee, so I can put my own number both ways. Okay, for WhatsApp, I'm putting my own number. But if my mother needs an appointment or something, I would add my number, and I'm getting all the reminder because the app is running on my number and everything. But what if I'm at the job and it's somewhere else and I have so much on my plate, but my mother is at home and she's not feeling well? So she might need some reminder of her own on her WhatsApp, so that she can call me. Okay, I have this like appointment right now. Just start the call right now. And plus, so I was thinking simultaneously the appointment reminder joining link also going from WhatsApp through WhatsApp to both like dependent and the employee. And secondly, if, both can join the call. If I'm busy and my mother has to take the appointment, she only can join the link. But if she needs me there to to have the conversation, so I might be also available for the call. So just because of me, my mother doesn't need to cancel her appointment, or I just don't need to cancel her appointment because I'm not available. Or if I'm available, I'm there to provide her like moral support or to converse regarding her situation. So yeah, this was my idea.
Got it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. One last question to end, Yashika.
Yeah.
If you were to look, you came up with a lot of solution ideas. If you were to choose just one as a product manager at Plum, which one will you pick?
So first of all, adding one more person like as employee thing, integration thing of like one plus person, because it's important for because I have seen mine in general day life also. And second one is prescription token thing, because obviously they are free, because health should be the incentive in itself. But still people are thinking, okay, थोड़ा शाम में ले लूंगी अपॉइंटमेंट कैंसिल कर देती हूँ, या कल ले लूंगी अपॉइंटमेंट कैंसिल कर देती हूँ, पैसे तो नहीं कट रहे हैं। पर अगर और हेल्थ भी इतनी खराब नहीं है अगर, but if I'm getting some discount on my prescription, or if I am getting something, so I might have this accountability also. Okay, let's be responsible, take it on time, I might have some discount on my prescription also. So it might be a like psychology thing of a positive reinforcement on people also. So I might opt a plus one kind thing, WhatsApp integration wala thing, and second is prescription token.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Yashika.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
so
much. Yeah.
much.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. It was an amazing presentation.
Thank you so
Uh, Coming back to Saurabh, we have the next participant ready, but I have a little question in between as well. Uh, Post you started Plum, so like one of the problems there was adopting to these things, like for example, my dad has a company. The problem they faced was key there was no platform where they could directly go to like Plum, and go and help take subscribe to these services. So how has the adoption been after the service has been productized?
Okay, so the question I think what Alap you're asking is that how is the adoption changed before the product release and
Yes,
after the product release? Sure,
yes.
sure. Anisha, you want to share?
Yeah, I think we were at about 100 consults a day flat, and now we're double that number. So that is just instant launch where we haven't done like a heavy push yet, and in product marketing. So this is I mean, I think in terms of it's a 4 month period, right? And it's also a phased rollout on two different platforms for Android and iOS. I think just that number jumping up with a minimum push on marketing is a sign that I look at as a good sign. A second sign that we realized is we actually introduced another feature called of an in-app rating, where once you book an appointment, you get a nudge, or once you get your prescription or complete the consult, you get a nudge of, are you liking your Plum experience? And after we've done that, our rating has gone up from 3.5 to 4.5 over a period of 4 weeks.
That's
So,
amazing.
and our biggest use case is telehealth on the app because we have so many consultations. So while a lot of it is also related to the claims experience and the wellness experience that people are having, we do know that at least from an experience front, some of this is also coming from telehealth. So we're hoping that the power of referral and will also spread through more in employees in these organizations.
That's amazing. Thanks so much for sharing this. We have Sugato, who is the next presenter. Uh, we have him on the stage now. Hi, Sugato. How's it going? Can you hear
I
us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't think my camera is on this one.
No, it's not on.
Hi.
Hi, Sugato.
Is it
Where are you based out of?
Sorry, I couldn't get that.
Where are you based out of?
Bangalore.
Oh, that's amazing. Perfect. Can you quickly share your screen? You know the rules.
Sorry,
I'll
sorry.
give you a hard stop at
Yes, sure. Yeah.
7 minutes. I'll give you a hard stop at 7 minutes, and then it'll be open for Saurabh and Anisha to question. By the way, Anisha, there's a lot of chatter in the chat about Anisha for the win because I think you helped them a lot understanding the product.
Anytime. They were like really detailed questions, so a good one on you guys as well.
Perfect, perfect. So rather let me know once you're ready, and I'll start the timer.
Yeah, thanks so much, Alap. I mean, for coordinating in the back end, you've been hammering away with the messages, keeping us on track. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Saurabh and Anisha, thank you so much for the time and for selecting this presentation. Um, so I'll just jump right in. I won't waste time because we have so many.
Perfect,
We'll start the timer, Alap.
perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah, so explaining the setup, we already know the problem. The first thing that struck me is that we need to be very cognizant of 81% of the sessions which are happening on time. There's a big risk in making any intervention that we do that targets the whole audience when only 19% of the sessions are the problem. So the Hippocratic way kind of applies over here as well. We need to be very cognizant of that. So with that in mind, we'll meet our two actors. These are the personas. One is Poe and one is Neil. They have their own qualms about what they want from telehealth. One is Poe, who is an optimizer who likes to make the best of every day that he has, meets targets, makes time, spreadsheets. He's like by the number kind of guy. And one is Neil, who's a family juggler who is managing multiple responsibilities, and he has just too much on his plate. He just gets brain fed and sometimes feels like just quitting. So with these two personas, let's just proceed. So the way we approach this problem is that with the target outcome, we work backwards to identify what is the target behavior which needs to serve that outcome. In this case, we need to reduce no shows and cancellations. So We reduce this by doing the target outcomes of target behaviors of showing up on time, or when the user changes his plans, then he needs to cancel at least 30 minutes in advance. We are assuming here that 30 minutes in advance is enough time to fill that slot with someone else at peak hours, which is when the maximum opportunity loss can occur. Against these two behaviors, we map the entire behavior journey and all the touch points that the user has to interact with to ultimately reach at one of these two behaviors. At each of these points, we can then proceed to find the friction points, and then we'll come to that in more detail in the next slide. Um, yeah, so again, I'll not spend too much time over here because we want to discuss the solutions. That's what you're waiting for. But on the surface, let's just say that at the surface there are a lot of reasons that people give which don't actually map into the real reason. Someone might say I'm forgetting, but it's actually a translation of I didn't care about the appointment early enough. I didn't care about it enough that I cleared my calendar, told everyone, set up my own commitment devices so that I didn't miss an appointment. So you just imagine you have an appointment with a world famous cardio surgeon who just gives an appointment once in 3 months. So you will never miss that appointment because you're committing to that appointment in advance, because it's instant and on demand. There's an abundance and a lack of scarcity, which causes the problem of low commitment. So these are some of the reasons which boil into each of these problem areas. We created 13 intervention candidates, 9 of which were viable for the implementation purpose, and we'll just look at how we prioritize the effort versus return. So one, two, three, four, five. So there are these five which we have bucketed into P0 and P1, P2. Cashless checkout. Now, this is one interesting area where we say that we put a price to the service instead of calling it a free service. Every time you want to book an appointment, there's an additional step inserted into your process where we say that there's a pay and then avail service option. Is just like insurance, right? In an insurance service, you don't pay zero, you pay X, and that X is authorized at the cashless dispersal gateway at the hospital. So there's a value, and there's a value which is tangible. So introducing some friction and making the process pay and then reimburse or some kind of cashless method really unbundles the value of the service, helps people see that they're not getting free, they're getting a valuable service that the company is paying for. So this can lead to about 4% based on my estimates on the reduction of no-shows and late cancellations. Again, one more important theme I've touched upon is a pre-mortem. Why it might fail is that increasing the amount of friction in the process might actually piss off people who are actually on time. So we have to be very sure about what we do and A/B test. And the A/B testing duration is very small. The window is 7 days based on the current traction and volumes that Anisha had kindly shared with us. So this is some sidestepping of the problem. Reminder Plus. Now this is part of a larger triage of suite of different options. One is interactive reminders. Obviously, it's been medically researched that clinics who reach out on phone with human guidance get much more traction in terms of no shows being reduced. But it's an expensive process. People's phones are not reachable. So Reminder Plus is a way by which you don't just remind, you give a constructive action to the reminder. Like for example, over here you can see the doctor's consultation is in 34 minutes. Keep your pressure medication history ready. So it's telling you that keep your bills, keep your medication history ready. It's a constructive action for you to start engaging before the appointment time. It not only builds to your showing up on time, it builds the credibility that if I am not going to show up, might as well just cancel now. Or I can even reduce the cancellation guilt to postponement, which makes it a lower cost action for me as a person who is experiencing, I don't want to reject the doctor's time, I don't feel good about canceling someone. And the same way, for example, we had a pre-check before joining this session. We had network issues. Suppose we had check my connection as a constructive action. This could be one way to engage users before the call and make sure they show up. The other way, and this is another part of the prioritization, but it's in P1, not P0, is active window. I'll just go into it in more detail in the Q&A, but this is basically a way to engage users about the queue and create a simulated clinic setting where they can actually update more of their history and talk about their problem and speed up the diagnosis when it actually comes to the session with the doctor. The idea over here is that you not only tell the doctor what's happening before in advance, but also start engaging and preparing and de-engaging from your meeting that you have, whatever it is that you are doing in the background. Start de-engaging and start preparing to attend on time. The obvious easy win over here is that calendar integration and link sharing. I think Yashika has also gone into it very well. I don't think we need to go into it in more detail, but the idea is that people should be able to log into the session for a dependent without having the app installed. As I understand that there is no dependent login right now, but even without a dependent login, if there can be a link which can be a secure way to join a session without logging in, that would be great for a dependent to show up without the primary insured being alongside that person.
Sugato,
Uh,
30 seconds.
Okay, yeah. So, and the last point is intelligent overbooking. Now, this is a very contentious issue because overbooking is something that is kind of denied by most clinical settings, but they actually do. Most clinical settings will have some wait time, and because of some kind of overbooking, not intelligent overbooking. But the idea over here is that we can use intelligent overbooking in a way that identifies people who are chronically
Thank you so
late.
much. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. I think we are done with the time. We'll move on
Okay,
to
yeah,
the
yeah. So this is fine. Yeah. So then I'll just go on to the next one. And there's a priority service option, but I'll just talk about that in the Q&A. I think you have taken enough time.
perfect.
So hey, brilliant. So Sugata, this is very cool presentation that you walked us through. What me and Anisha, we were just chatting that what we really liked is that um, it's more important of what how you've understood the problem rather than a lot of solutions, right? So we really loved that you understood the problem very well, and that prognosis of the problem of how you took the journeys, how you made conclusions of where the journey pain points were, and how that leads to no show or not. I think that is a battle half won already if you drill down there. I have one question, and hey, by the way, we also have sneaked in Jayant, who leads healthcare from business as well. So he'll keep asking questions too. So I'll start with a question. You were talking something about intelligent overbooking. Could you elaborate a little more?
Oh wow. Okay. So a traditional overbooking approach would just take the times which are peak and then just try to fill in those with redundancies, like a flight on a busy route. They'll try to overbook to minimize loss. But in intelligent overbooking, what you will do is you will cherry pick multiple signals. Like I'll look at the doctor's roster. I'll look at where the time availability of doctors is less. I'll marry that with a prediction of a particular day's what is the footfalls expected, and marry that with the user who is approaching. Is it a psych case? Because psych cases have a lot of time spent, but they might have a lot of cancellations as well. Is it a GP case? Is it a small issue? Small ailments can be prone to being postponed. It's not urgent, and we know that 70% of the users fall into that not very urgent but minor issues. 70% issues for telehealth. So using these multiple signals, we create a tagging score. So when a user opens up their screen to block a particular time, it's not like a regular non-transparent overbooking where you just take the booking and you tell the person at the end of the queue that you have to wait for half an hour. You tell in advance, you prepare the person in advance that hey, this is a busy time, be prepared to show up with some waiting time. We'll try to, of course, keep you updated in real time. And that's where active window, the other option intervention which I showed you, that you'll be able to see in live who are the people in front of you, how many people behind you, and tell them in advance that this is important because this is a busy time, and then you are booking a slot which is busy. So it can also help shift people away from the busy times to the off peak times. So it will help balance out the load as well. Like I've seen that lunchtime will be a very peak time, right? Or early morning before office or after office, the evening time, people might be deprioritizing and doing the health consultations. But if we can move and we can show people that this is the peak hour, we can help shift people down to leaner periods and help balance out the system as well. It's not just about overbooking.
Correct, correct.
This is like happy hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like priming the users for busy hours.
Yeah.
Um, questions. I have one more question. I think some of the solutions are over indexed. Like, for instance, we came across your solution on overbooking, or we came across pre appointment engagement. I think those were interesting. However, which when we look at your barriers contributing to the problem, the biggest barrier was low commitment, or forgetting, where you have about 20% of the people who may be not joining because of negative task perception. Actually, 50% is towards the patients who have low commitment or forgetting or negative task perception. And do you have like, which solution from yours? I saw notification was one, but any other from notification where you could bring more people to change this behavior of, be it negative perception or forgetting?
Yeah. So one aspect which I couldn't cover during the presentation because we ran out of time, the last slide, was the incentivization. So as a healthcare system, you can't put negative incentives and punish people for being sick. So a person might have a bad track record, but they might really need help at a particular time. So you can't say that, you know what, you have to pay, or you have to, jump through so many hoops. So you can't put a moralistic and paternalistic intervention like that. So instead, that particular slide talked about priority access. So I remember how I talked about busy hours and setting up a wait time. Now, in any situation, no matter how perfect your buffer times and plannings of peak hours are, there will be some waiting time and some amount of leeway. Now, if we have a person who is always on time or always following the rules of the game, you on the first day the person shows up for a consultation, you have no data about the person's history. So you immediately, after the first consultation gets over, you immediately ask them to enroll in the priority queue or priority service queue. And once they're in that queue, you tell them, these are the terms and conditions. If you are wanting to be a priority access customers, here's the benefit, here's the deal. On busy times, you will get your slot first, you will not have to wait. You will have access to special slots in between only for priority access, like 10:30 might be a slot, but for you we'll have a 10:20 slot. So
Understood.
these kind of prioritizations can incentivize people to stay in a higher level of service rather than drop down.
Correct, correct. Hey, two more questions, Sugato. I think one, you mentioned somewhere that you had chats with about 13 folks. Tell us a little. Did I understand correctly? I
No,
think you said you made a checkpoint with
three,
13 sort of people.
three, three users, one doctor, and two normal consumers.
Gotcha. Just because this is a learning community, right? So take us through a little bit, a summary of your learning of how you approach those folks, and like, what were your kind of inquiries with these folks, and what insights came out, which we were not able to share with you. And last, end up by telling us a little about yourself, your background.
Sure, I'll do that. So, yeah, this is the interesting part. Like, the heart of the problem is in talking to people and uncovering these things. And I think I tried a bit to put that in the personas, the actors. The idea is that people, the people, when you ask them the reason for why they cancelled a particular appointment, what they will say is something that is different from what they actually mean. And that's our problem, that we can't get the real truth. People will say, I had a meeting. That's not the real truth. The real truth is that you didn't clear the meeting in advance. When you book the appointment, you plan to fail. If you didn't, you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? That's like yeah, Serena Williams' dad talking. But yeah, so the idea is that when you have a lack of commitment, when you have a negative task perception, these things are hidden. These things come out from associating a lot of what the people said to me. Like, someone might say that, what, it's such a chore to cancel. What is the point of canceling? There's no cancellation fee anyways. I get a full refund, even if a paid service. Plum has a completely free service, but even for a paid service I get a full refund. So what's the problem? I had to dig through medical research and literature on the topic, which talked about how people perceive cancellation as a rejection of the doctor. They actually see it as, I'm telling someone you're not worth my time. And people in general are not like that. People don't want to face up to negative confrontations. So they put off and defer and delay the inevitable, and they try to do the meeting and optimize the meeting so that, you know what, the meeting is running late, but I can still make it. I can still make it for that appointment. And they over optimize, trying to push the bad news, and then they end up canceling too late or not showing up at all. So these were the kind of insights which I connected by looking at what people are saying, like convenience and, you know, meeting or some other, you know, superficial reason, and I connected the dots with some of the what psychological research was saying, and I found that, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to boil it down to the real reason and attack there, because
Got
there's
it.
no way I'm going to go into your life and tell you what's important, right?
Got it. Got it. So meta learning, what you're sharing with us is one, not just the data and insights, but also talking to the real users and corroborating that with the facts. Tell us a little about yourself, Sugato.
Okay, so I'm a recovering finance veteran. I'm deeply into business finance, and I've been in commercial finance, pricing, and strategy roles for longest part of my career. I have always been a product manager in the way that I did the finance. So if somebody told me to build a spreadsheet, I built it into a product which could be scaled to any department. If somebody told me to improve a process, I would use some no code tools to bring the process online into, you know, everyone's visibility. So I had that kind of a product mindset. I just didn't know I was doing it. I didn't have that knowledge or whereabout about that this is what it could be called. And when I realized this, I decided that, you know, I want to do this whole hog. I don't want to just beat around the bush. And that's when I decided the product management is something that just thrills me about how ownership driven the role is, and that's what I've been
And
doing.
did you do the design of the deck as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, looks like there is a lot of fans of yours in the chats here who have loved the design that you've done. So
So is
we
it?
couldn't have imagined a finance guy who wants to become a product manager, good at design as well. Rare combination. Welcome to the community, Sugato. Thank you so much for the presentation today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you, Anisha. Any questions from Anisha? I didn't answer anything.
No, I think Saurabh covered all the points. So we're good.
Okay, great, great. Great to hear. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hi, Saurabh. Hi.
I'm perfect. Yes, it's on a camera. Do you mind sharing your screen and we'll quickly get started?
Yes.
Uh, just one more thing. I think I did this earlier, and I don't want to do this again and again. I don't want to interrupt between the flow you are in. That's why I won't say anything till that 7 minutes are over. Hope that's okay. The beep will you'll hear
I
the
would
beep.
rather you request or remind me at the 5 minute mark.
Perfect, perfect. Then I'll do that. Uh,
Sure.
Let me know when you're ready, and I'll start the timer.
Yes. Let's start.
Perfect.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm sure you all know why we are here. The problem statement at hand is to reduce cancellations, both explicit and implicit, for the Plum's telehealth feature from 19% down to 6%. Discovered in 1808. I'm sorry. Looking at the product, we understand that the telehealth feature is quite simple to use. Book an appointment within 10 minutes, get a diagnosis for yourself and your family. The adoption rate among Plum's extended user base currently stands at 2 to 3%. I have assumed it to be 2.5%. And then, based on calculated assumptions, those who discover the feature are very likely to book a telecall with a doctor, wherein five users book a telecall, um, telehealth call with a doctor. The user flow is pretty simple. It does a pretty good job of qualifying the booking by asking users to select a doctor from a list of doctors, and this thing is not done by most other platforms. Our objective is very clear: reduce cancellation rate. I'm not looking to increase bookings, not looking to reduce bookings, not looking to provide a holistic experience to the user or increase friction for cancellation. Although these can become secondary outcomes, and we find out what product outcomes we need to influence in order to reach our or affect the cancellation rate, which is reach and notification CTR and clicks on join call or reschedule call. And so we try to understand what the users are currently doing. We observe that we need to solve for a broader user behavior, focusing on three user types based on who the person is to be treated. First is self, which is employees, who attribute to 70% of total cancellations. And then the next two are dependents, which is your sibling and parent. And although their contribution to cancellation is comparatively low, 10% broadly each, but the cancellation among these two user types is very high. So we hypothesize reasons for cancellation based on research and map those out into what opportunities we need to tap into. We establish a clear picture of what behavior changes are required, and we require from the two sets of users, which are no showers and cancelers. If you ask me what one single behavior requirement you have, I'll say that I want no showers to turn into cancerers, so that at least I know and have the data and can better understand their problem. And for cancelers, we need to make them value the call and hence act suitably. So for each of these five opportunities, which is helping the user in booking correct appointments, showing value to users so that they prioritize these bookings, helping them attend the call without any dependencies, helping them easily reschedule the appointment, and helping them easily cancel the appointment. We brainstorm some solutions and then we prioritize these solutions. And we can broadly identify these solutions into three buckets based on the product outcomes that we recognized earlier. Number one is increase the number of users we reached notifications or reminders. Next is increase the CTR for these notifications slash reminders, and then increase the number of clicks on either join call or reschedule call. So coming to elaborating a few of these solutions, I think some have been covered earlier. First is a calendar block, pretty simple. It's to add a calendar block to the email ID that the user has provided to their calendar. Second is something interesting, which two other platforms are already doing, simplifying communications. So instead of expecting the user to understand what a pulmonologist is, even it is even difficult for me to pronounce it correctly. But what we do instead is we help them if they are feeling any congestion in their chest. Instead of expecting them to understand their symptoms and diagnose themselves and then book a doctor for their problem, we show them those symptoms so that they can easily book it themselves. This is in order to avoid wrong bookings or incorrect bookings. Third is another version of the cancel flow that we already have. Instead of letting the users to cancel after they click on it. So right now, if I click on cancel, it just asks me reasons and then helps me cancel the appointment. So instead of that, I just try once again for him to reschedule the appointment. I also give him some social proof in the form of how good or valuable the doctor is and how valuable his diagnosis or their diagnosis has been for previous patients. The next solution is exploiting the strength of our communication channel, which is WhatsApp in this case, paired with helping users to not have to open Plum app for the telecall, and paired with not having users to join Plum's own version of Google Meet. So the result is, thank you so much. And the result is we reach the person who is to be treated through WhatsApp so that they can easily join the telehealth call without any dependencies. I've just shown a flow here of the user and how it would look like. This is an interesting one where we identify behaviors that can hint us that Mayuresh, case in point, has a chance of cancelling the call. And when Mayuresh crosses a threshold for what we can call a potential canceller, we go after Mayuresh to confirm the call. And if Mayuresh doesn't confirm it, we cancel the appointment and open up the slot for someone else. Lastly, we empower the users to diagnose themselves through AI, which you are already implementing for Policy GPT, where we know that AI can diagnose a rare disease within seconds. We know that AI has passed US's medical examination, if I remember it correctly. And what we do is we suggest the user some prescription based on what the AI has diagnosed, or we help them to set up a telehealth call if that is what they want. And then here also it helps in avoiding incorrect bookings because the AI themselves suggest which specialty to book, suggest slots, and the user can confirm the call. Overall, we look at the impact of what each of these solutions contribute to achieving our objective. Surprisingly, we meet the goals, although just barely. We have other solutions as well, which I have not covered, but just elaborated a little bit for everyone to understand. So, what are the next steps? We need to validate the assumptions that we have made through data, survey, and/or user interviews. We validate solutions through various measures depending on how complex or easy they are to build. And we roll out these measures, we roll out these solutions, we measure them, we
Thank you so
iterate,
much.
and then roll out, and the cycle continues.
Thank
So
you, Mavis.
that's it from me. Thank you so much.
To acknowledge. Oh, I'll just
I think you are mute, Anisha.
Yeah, wait, I've unmuted.
no.
Yeah, all right. Hey, thanks a lot, Mevish, for the detailed presentation. I think I could see some of the data points really being used from what I had shared over the last couple of weeks. So I had one question, which was you had what's your hypothesis when you say that when a user is trying to cancel a call, prompt them to reschedule instead, because what if they reschedule it and they're a low intent user and then they just don't turn up on the call anyway?
Sorry. Yeah. So the idea here is for the user to, although they might be low intent, but I do not want them to waste their slot and avoid not being helped by Plum. I want them to go through the service, realize the value, so that they can become regular users of telehealth.
So I think, yeah, I think maybe the way I look at a lot of your solutions is integrated. Like you are adding multiple features to create value so that in the long term, people think it's important enough to turn up for the consultation. Um, do you have any other questions, Saurabh, on the
Yes.
presentation?
Yes.
One second.
Uh, should I use your mic?
You
Okay.
use yours.
Okay. Cool. Hey, thank you, Mahesh. We enjoyed some of the areas where you walked us through, especially some interesting solutions which we also had not thought about it. Maybe we should double down on one of your solution that you proposed, and that's around. You mentioned attendance predictor, right? So
Right.
I'm just looking at. For everybody's knowledge while you were presenting. So, what you're saying is that with some notifications that we send to the user, and basis on their read receipts, if we could see whether the person is interested in the consultation, and if we see that they haven't opened their emails or they haven't opened their notifications with us, this is a low intent, and there you're saying do a robocall, otherwise don't do a robocall, right? That's what you're saying. uh,
Right.
uh,
Yes, that's right.
the thing that I'm sort of challenging the solution is that robocalls are cheap in any way, right? So why not we deploy robocalls for everybody if the solution of preventing a patient no show is essentially a robocall? That's one. Just elaborate a little of what your thought process is, and then second, um, to build something like an intent calculator by read receipts, which is from an engineering standpoint, it's difficult, it's not accurate. People have permissions, etc., or ad blockers, etc. There's multiple ways of how read receipts are not accurate. And second, uh, people are busy, right? So looking at a notification saying, hey, I have a reminder, versus opening a notification, is not much difference. So we don't know if somebody has looked the notification, but opening a notification doesn't mean really today. So that these are two things of how I'm thinking that. Did you have a little more thought process here?
Hey,
Sure.
can I just build on Saurabh's question? I know you have two, but I want to then also add that How come? Why didn't you choose your user rating, right? Which is a rating system you were trying to create in one of your other solutions, based on the cancellation and whether they turn up on time. Why wouldn't you put that higher than this notification attendance predictor framework? Why did you pick one over the other? That would be nice to understand.
Sure, Anisha. So I'll answer one by one. First is why a robocall only for a selected few users and why not it for everybody, right? I do not want to disturb everyone if I don't need to. That was the main reason why I do not want to deploy a robocall for everyone. If I think that they have a propensity to cancel or not show up, only then am I opting for this robocall solution. Your second question was calculator based on read receipts might be difficult and not accurate in from the point of view of development. Um, Here, my hypothesis is that if I'm not showing interest in the notifications that I'm receiving, there is a very high chance that I'm about to cancel, and that chance I'm confirming through a robocall. So if my intent is not to cancel, then I'll just confirm it, right? It's a very not a very but a, a, like a very low intrusion, so to say, in a
Got it.
user's life, which I can confirm very easily. That was
Got
the reason. Um,
got it.
I understand that there might be other signals, and because I do not have any data, I was not able to build upon it, and
Understood.
that's why this was a simple structure that I opted for. Um,
Understood.
Answering the third question, why didn't I choose user rating higher than this notification attendance predictor instead? The idea was that in its current form, this attendance predictor, at least what I thought was very easy to develop. The effort was low. But in the case of a user rating system, the effort was comparatively high. And that's why if you see my RISE prioritization matrix, that is the reason why I opted for attendance predictor over uh, over the user rating system.
Got it. Quick two questions, Mavish, to close. One, in your second order of priority, you had recommended a symptom-based booking.
Right.
Um, uh, did you have any data that our cancellations are happening because these were people were choosing wrong doctors?
So what I assumed here, Saurabh, was that because 33% of our cancellations were from people who did not require it. If I can just open my solution tree, there were two major reasons. One was that I did not need it because I my health has improved, and
Yeah.
the other was that yeah, and the other was what I hypothesized again was that users are not able to diagnose themselves, and that is why they need some help, which was validated by other two platforms, namely MediHealth and some other platform that I do not remember right now. Um, they opting for such user experience.
It was your hypothesis. I'm just sharing from our data standpoint. People are not canceling because they thought, oh, I booked the wrong doctor. So, but whenever you have, and it's a learning is that whenever you have a hypothesis and you don't have adequate data, go talk to the users, right? So,
Right.
one way to look at it. But hey, tell us about yourself.
So I've been building solutions for different brands in different verticals. I started at Shimaru helping content brands, then at Times of India helping hospitality brands, then at Inc 42 helping tech brands, and now at HT helping education brands. When I say solutions, it is mostly media solutions. How we can help them achieve their objective. So this is broadly my background. At my during my stint at Inc 42, I have got a chance to interact with a lot of product managers. Was really fascinated by it and understood that most of the things that I do are related to it. That's why I got interested in this field, explored more about it, and now I am trying to learn a few things.
Great. Thank you so much, Mavish.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you, Anisha.
Thanks so much, Mahesh. Mahesh, really appreciate the presentation. Uh,
Thank you, Alan.
Next we have is Arbia. Arbia, do raise your hand if you're here around.
Okay. Hi everyone. So as everybody knows, we are having this session for solving a problem that was mentioned by Plum app, and I'm not going to go in detail for in the problem statement. I will just go on to the approach. So, as these were some key takeaways from the fabulous AMA with Anisha, who gave us a detailed answer for our very detailed questions. So, from the AMA, I just took out some points that most of the cancellations are faced by general physicians and psychologists. So I'm mostly going to target these audience who are booking appointments for general physicians and psychologists. Also, we have seen in the AMA that the biggest contributor, that is one third of the cancellations, have given the reason that they don't require it, and the next contributor is that they are having an urgent meeting. So we will also tap in those reasons. We will be I will be giving some alternatives to them. So and my assumption are there is no budget constraints, and since the uh, feature is like relatively new, so if I'm giving all the solution, uh, that will be suitable in the long term. So from the target audience, I have created three user personas. First one is a cool guy who is not very health conscious. He can book appointments, but he's he forgets about it,
Hey,
or yeah.
Arbia, can I encourage you not to spend time at the user persona right now, and
Okay.
we'll come back where the user persona requires attention. I'm just
Okay. Thank you.
helping you move on. Yeah.
Okay. So first solution is picking low hanging fruits. In this I've added the thing we need to add in the current app design is adding new content in the your consultation page. We'll be adding content to encourage users to take their health on priority and attend their appointments on time, and like we'll be discouraging no shows and cancellation. Then second one is some minor changes in the UX design on upcoming consultation page. So in the current design, we have join call primary CTA, above which we have reschedule option and cancel option on the right hand side, which makes that cancel option very easily accessible to the users, and they can easily tap on it. So what I have done is I have just placed the join call button on the right side, reschedule option on the left side, and I have like somewhat hidden this cancel option in this more option, so that it is not easily accessible, but it will be easily accessible once user tries to see what is inside this more option. Third, I have given solution is add to calendar. So what currently is happening is when user like books the appointment and lands on booking confirmation page, first content he sees is you can easily reschedule and cancel your appointment. That is giving the impression that user can casually cancel the appointment if he doesn't want. So what I have made change over here is instead of encouraging them to reschedule or cancel the appointment, let's encourage them to add this appointment to their calendar, so that they can block their calendar, and like no other work, no other meeting, they can avoid scheduling any other meeting during that time. And the CTA is there, where you, by clicking on which user can land on his device calendar and book their calendar. Next solution is ask a quick query. So here I am targeting audience who are uh, who don't have a very severe health issue. They have just a very low, like light health related query. They don't want to spend their 10 to 20 minutes on video call or schedule a meeting. They can easily like share their query in here, and in 24 to 48 hours their query will be answered. In this query they will have to provide some basic information, after which be having an option to get the answer either on WhatsApp or email, or both on email and WhatsApp. Then third is showing doctor's details. In doctor's details, like when users know which doctor they are going to have the appointment with, what what rating he has, how many consultations he have already covered, what patients are saying about him. So there the user gets confident कि yeah, I'm consulting with a good doctor and other patients have also consulted with him. So uh, he's a special good doctor. So I should not miss his appointment, and I should not uh, I should the user will be encouraged by these reviews. For
One
sol-
minute, 1 minute time. Like,
Okay. For solution is quiz. What I have done over here is I've moderated this quiz a little bit to help users know what is the severity of their health, like a health issue. So currently, what is happening is user are not taking this consultation, I think, very. They are taking this consultation thing very lightly. So we want to show how severe is your health issue, so that we can encourage user to not miss their appointment. If they are booking, they should not miss their appointment. And if they have some low we like less severe health issue, ac- we can give them links to watch some blogs or articles that are already present in the Plum content library related to that health symptom. Or if the ask the query feature is launched, we can ask them to ask the query instead. Fifth solution is patient scoring system.
thank you so much. Really sorry to interrupt. I think we're past the time. We'll move on to the Q&A section now. Saurabh, you want to go?
Yeah. Hey, hi, Arbia.
Hi
Um,
Saurabh, hi Anisha.
Hey.
so first of all, both Anisha and I feel that uh, your ability to think simple solutions is pretty where it's very commendable, that instead of thinking out of the world features to solve the problems, you first looked at low hanging fruits, because remember, a product manager is always resource constrained.
Yeah.
So you looked at the low hanging fruits and you found some elegant solutions across those low hanging fruits. So kudos for simplicity in finding solutions there. I have one question that I would like to ask you. I'm just please give me 30 seconds. I'm just opening your deck.
Yeah, sure.
And this is moment. So quiz, right? Where just want to remind you had some low hanging fruits of adding some content. You had recommended some UX design changes. I think Anisha had a question there on the UX design change. There's a quick query question which you started, where do you even require consultation? Why don't you ask a query? We really like that one. The doctor's profile, I think you thought really well about what are the important components of a doctor's profile. The quiz one, I think. Tell us a little about the reason why you started about, or your thought process of finding arriving at a solution such as quiz. We think that a quiz solution is super hard to generalize when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
healthcare. Because depending upon what symptom you may have, your quiz is completely different. So maybe help us understand if we are missing on something here of how you arrived at this.
Okay, first of all, I agree with you that it's very hard to implement. That is why I have placed it very low in the prioritization framework. Secondly, what why I chosen this quiz thing is, like, quiz is something every other platform is using, and people find it very entertaining, or like thinking, yes, let's take this quiz and see what answers we are getting. First thing that I had in mind was that people themselves don't know how severe is their health issue. Okay, so they that is why they even don't know why, if they should even book a consultation, or know if they are having such a severe issue ki they need a consultation, or this can be uh, like uh, like this issue can be solved by using by reading a good blog or article, or by watching a good video that can be presented by Plum only. And second thought process was that ki I have also given a solution of asking a quick query. So if user is getting a low recommendation from the Plum site ki no, you don't have a very severe health issue, so we are not very, like, you are lowly recommended for booking a teleconsultation. Okay, so there we can give them an option ki ask a quick query instead of booking a consultation. You can ask a quick query.
Uh, got it. Hey, so I have another question, which is on your UX piece on the low-hanging fruits. Can
Yeah.
you walk me through what was your thought process when you have added a reschedule and a join call button? So I'll just tell you exactly your recommendation for the larger audience as well. That basically in the appointment details screen, uh, there is a recommendation that you put the primary CTA as join the call and the secondary CTA as reschedule. So can you tell me exactly what this means? When do you want to show this these two CTAs?
So these, let me check my deck where I am showing this.
I think you removed the cancel option.
No,
Uh,
no, actually, I didn't remove the cancel option. I just have hidden it under the more options, so that cancel option is not striking the user mind.
got
Okay.
it.
Also, that cancel option was given on the right side, and we know that most of the people have this are right-handed, and we can easily click on that option from right hand thumb. So I've just hidden that option so that it is not easily accessible, and it is not very striking to the user's mind. Ki let's there is a cancel option. Simply click on it.
Got it. And I want to maybe highlight one thing here, which could probably be a barrier to your solution, right? Which is
Mhm.
the join call button actually gets enabled at the time of 10 minutes before the consult start time. So
Mhm.
if you, I would say maybe if your solution set only have the reschedule button as one button, and you are hiding the cancel somewhere. Just a hypothesis. I'm not saying that's the best way to do it, but maybe that, because think about it. If the join call button is getting enabled 10 minutes before the call, and then somebody decides to reschedule instead
Mhm.
of canceling, it's still the doctor's slot is getting wasted. So that's one. The second thing, since you touched on right-handedness and design, I think maybe an approach I would use is um, like in such a scenario, especially when you're prompting a user to an action, we'd like to keep one button that's like not maybe confuse the user very close to the call on what action they should be taking. So I would keep a join call button, and then it's inclusive to left-handed and right-handed people, able people as well. So that's a small maybe thing to keep in mind. But thanks
Yeah,
for.
that's a valid point.
And last question, Arbia, please tell us about yourself, and maybe share with all of us what was the most challenging part of this exercise.
So actually, I'm a business analyst plus product owner at a startup which is in talent tech. I would say, like, we are building a job platform from scratch. It's been a 1 year and it's still in the launching phase. So like it's in beta phase, I would say. So the most challenging thing I faced in this was कि I have never booked a tele consultation, so I am not actually a user of tele consultation thing.
Same.
Second thing,
Most honest contestant here.
yeah. So second thing, कि the app is a paid one only for employers that are having access to it, and I was only having the prototype. Actually, I would say कि if I was having the full access to the app, I would have come like I would have uh, like, what do I say? Uh, See ki what other features are the app is having and what other changes we can do, other we can implement. More low hanging fruit. I like picking low hanging fruits. So that was one thing.
Cool.
That was
Thank
the
you.
major challenge I was facing.
No, that's a legit challenge, and thank you so much, Arbia. You are the low-hanging fruit queen of the day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ivy. It was amazing.
No, 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 not necessarily. I think one more thing maybe that I was sharing is even for us, this challenge, right? Why this problem is a real problem is because these consultations are free. So just the fact that people don't have to pay for them is it's not like an Uber or an urban company task that you book that when you cancel it you get a cancellation fee or a Swiggy order you cancel late that you're charged a fee. So it's basically you have to do a behavior change. And I think one thing that I'm getting from all of these presentations is also that everyone is thinking long term in solutions. It's like how do you add value to the user so that they don't cancel it on their own.
Hmm.
It's maybe not something that we can solve with one two quick hacks, but rather like a combination of multiple
Yeah.
compelling features.
I really agree with you. I think a lot. Perfect. We have the last presentation of the day. Yash and Gayatri. I'll bring them on stage. In the meantime, Saurabh, a couple of questions for you. When was the first product manager you hired at Plum?
Um. Wow. Okay. So first product manager would have taken an year or close to an year. Until
Uh,
then, both me, my co-founder Abhishek, we PM'd on most of the stuff, and our second PM was Anisha.
that's amazing. So a
And
very interesting thing. I was talking.
interesting tidbit on Anisha because you folks are coming from all parts of the life, and Anisha started as a growth person in the team, and she did a lot of sales. She was coming from WeWork, where she was a community manager, and then took growth charter in Plum for an year, and then moved to the Plum as a product manager. And I thought that was a great career move because that she had spent a lot of time with the customer, and now
Yeah.
coming on the other side and building for customer was a very um, uh, I would say it was a very effective gig that she's playing now.
That's where it comes in, right? You understand the customer as much as you understand the product side, and that's where you can marry the both at the perfect wavelength.
Yeah.
So I was just talking to my co-founder as well recently, and that's what it said, right? Founders are going if founders can't work their company out, they're going to be product managers because they've figured everything out, and that is in terms of tech, in terms of product, and in terms of business as well. So they're going always going to be the first product managers of the company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest skill though of like having done this double life switch over life is that it gives me and Jen, my main stakeholder, sitting in front of me. So it is basically that it gives me a lot of empathy with my stakeholders, and because of that, the collaboration is still like the level is like it still works out. And at the same time, I'm like, hey, you have to like kind of wear that hat of I get it, I know the customers, like you promise something, and it's a very big high stake game, but it's also the product strategy thinking hat that you have to put on and balance that out. So it's been interesting. Thanks, Plum, for the opportunity, though. I don't think I would have ever imagined this switch anytime soon.
Yeah.
Next challenge.
I think we're still facing problems. We'll keep the conversation going. Folks, if you have any questions for Saurabh and Anisha, feel free to put down in chat. We'll take them up. In the meantime, Saurabh, I recently moved to Bangalore. We're building a company as well. So in the early days, it's always like, people working out of either a bungalow, this thing on the first floor, office on the ground floor.
Or
How was
coffee
that like?
or
Sorry?
coffee shops, right? Or coffee
Yeah.
shops.
All coffee shops, exactly.
Yeah. So third wave was very close to my home. um, but that's how we start. That's how everyone should start. Which is doesn't matter anybody's home, anybody's barsatis, which is basically the balconies, or coffee shops. You have to start wherever you can. Hot weather should not stop you. Bad coffee like third wave should not stop you. Or even markets actually could kill you. But so how tenacious you are in the early days, that is really important, and you have to spend a lot of time with your
Hello, can
customer,
you hear me?
not just in your rooms or bungalows, but how much time you're spending with the customer.
Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah,
Cool.
I think Gayatri and Yash are here. So we'll can you quickly share your screen, switch on your camera, then we can start.
Actually, I can't hear you, but I'll be speaking what I have to. Guys, you will be present and be recording in that only issue.
So couldn't clearly hear him.
Okay, so I'll just begin. Greetings, everyone. Today, I and Gayatri will be helping our client Plum in order to lower down the cancellation and no-show rate. So, essentially, we went through the user persona, the customer journey, and also conducted a primary survey in order to get a better understanding of the problem. So, starting with the user persona, we narrowed down to three user personas. First one being the convenient consumer who prefer convenience the most. Second one being the busy bee who are always busy with the stuff. And third is the skeptical senior, as the name suggests. So, based on the user journey, we understand the difference between the expectations that the consumer has and the experience that they are getting from Plum as a platform. And then we moved on to the primary survey and essentially boiled down to five major problems that the consumers are facing, and essentially the primary reasons of cancellation and no show. So, first reason is the change in work schedule or an emergency situation within the family. Second is lack of trust with the doctor they are consulting with, because this is a teleconsultation, and for years, Indians have been consulting their family doctors, so there's a trust issue that's there. Third is that the platform is free, as Anisha mentioned. So patients essentially do not value that uh, free service that much, and that is why they end up canceling because there's no penalty that's being levied on them right now. And fourth is it slips off their mind, and fifth is that there's a time lag between joining the chat window and getting onto the consultation. So there are a lot of apprehensions about when the doctor will join, and that leads to a lot of drop off and cancellations when we actually interacted with the users. So we narrowed down to five solutions based on all these challenges, and that brings us to the e-care framework, which is easy rescheduling, then a continuous time tracker, aggregate plum score, reminder strategy, and effective filters and information, each of which we will be discussing.
Okay, the first solution we're going to talk about is the Plum score. So, as Anisha mentioned, since the absence of monetary transaction between the end user and the company is making it difficult to inculcate the discipline from users' end. So, what we are going to do is the Plum score is a performance tracker to incentivize responsible usage. So, we're going to keep a score for each user using four parameters: no shows, delays in joining the call, cancellations, and rating given by the doctor. And based on this Plum score, we're going to target exclusivity for access to more specific features such as more consultation or maybe follow up message. We can maybe think of how we can exclusivize this feature even more. And the audience segment we're targeting here is the convenient consumer, the busy bee, as well as the skeptical consumer senior. And here you can see the mock-up of how the Plum score works, where you can click on your profile and understand the uh, your score. And we are using a North Star metric here, the per user frequency of access restricted pop-up, and we target on a week-on-week decline in the rates.
So moving on to the next solution, that is time tracker. So as I mentioned, there are a lot of apprehensions about uh, whether the doctor is joining on time, whether he's late, whether there's any delay. So we are essentially fixing that problem because our secondary research found out that 20% of users essentially cancel on their commitments if there's any uncertainty about the time that has been decided by both the parties. So there's a three-front solution to that. First is as soon as you join the chat window, you're informed about the average call duration that that particular doctor requires. So let's say if you move on to the mockups, we have mentioned that, oh, let's say a particular doctor has 7 minutes 43 seconds. The next step is informing you about how long the previous consultation has been going on. So let's say it's going on for 5 minutes 20 seconds. So you have an idea as to how much more time it will require for your turn. And third is an on time update by the doctor. So when a consultation is going on, as soon as the next patient joins in, the doctor has gets a pop-up notification in order to mandatorily inform the next patient whether he's joining on time, 2 minutes late, 5 minutes late, or a custom time that he can select over there. So that is about the second solution.
The third solution is increasing transparency by providing in-depth information about the doctor's experience. So, like Yash mentioned, how Indians have, over time always consulted family doctors. Here we target on building trust. So here we're going to add factors such as number of patients consulted, years of experience,
Okay.
number of patients treated, etc. And to build a personal connection, we're going to mention the number of patients treated from the user's company. And we're adding a filter, a range of filters. One of them is proximity of the doctor through the distance from the patient's location. So here patients and since it was also mentioned how 5% is cancelled because 5% is due to doctor cancellations. So the rating of the doctors can also be influenced through that feature.
Okay, coming on to the fourth strategy, that is personalized reminders. So right now, what we are doing as Plum is that we are sending them SMS and WhatsApp reminders, which get missed in extreme business and simply overlooking it because working professionals get a lot of messages and WhatsApp text for their work related to their work. So essentially, we have three solutions for this, as a lot of people mentioned. Google Calendar. So we mandatorily include it with Google Calendar. So as soon as you book it, you are updating it on your Google Calendar. So you receive a full screen notification, which is very difficult to miss, as it's been shown on the next mock-up slide. Second is remind your loved one. So we have a positive inclusion over here. So let's say as soon as you book it, whenever
When
you sign up for the app, you have to
Yes.
give us one loved one whom you would like to remind in case of any consultation that you have booked. So as soon as you book it, you have a positive inclusion into the remind your loved one thing. In order to change that, you have to put an additional effort. So there's a friction we have added in order to opt out of that process. And third is a Plum automated call from Plum that we'll be doing in order to remind them of their call mails.
Okay, and the last problem we are targeting here is easy rescheduling alternatives so that the busy beat audience segment can reschedule. So in our survey, we found out one of the biggest reasons that people cancel is due to the friction between jumping between apps for for rescheduling. So we're going to tackle the problem on three fronts: configurable notifications, rescheduling on call, and reminder messages. So the audience segment targeted here is the busy bee. And as you can see, there's a notification feature, an SMS feature, and a WhatsApp message. And we're going to include a call,
Thank you very much,
an auto.
Gayatri and Yash. I think we're done with the time. We'll move on to the Q&A part now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're really sorry about the issues. Yash couldn't join in.
Hey, no problem. Thank you so much for your presentation, both Gayatri and Yash. It was interesting for me to see because in terms of I actually have more of a recommendation than a question, which is your remind your loved ones, right? It's um, a, a thing that I've been thinking about because I've built this in the process of building this patient journey has been that instead of reminding your loved ones, you could just be creating patient profiles and storing a profile level data. So say that your parent has consulted, so you have a mother profile with their phone number and email ID, and then I as soon as I saw this feature, I was like, okay, I kind of replaced it with remind the patient, the dependent, in a way. So I think that was one recommendation that I had on in terms of questions. Just give me a minute because I want to go through your
Hmm.
text.
While you're going through, should I ask one?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Folks, Gayatri and I think Yash is gone, right? So Gayatri, the biggest problem, let's say, if is no show or cancellation, like let's solve for each one of them. We understand reminders, we understand calendar integrations, etc. Um, Looks like you worked a lot on this idea of Plum Score, but where is Plum Score helping um, reduce, let's say, a cancellation for somebody?
So, the basic idea is how humans like incentivization and rewarding. So, if a person can't, has a streak of not canceling or following up on his consultations, we
Yeah.
provide like a good score. And based on that score, maybe we can open up more exclusive features. We haven't been able to think much on what features we can, maybe like bet more consultation or like we're not really sure of that, but this is the basic framework of the idea we thought of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now it drives the point. But we were also discussing what could that exclusivity be, where we could gamify a Plum Score. We also don't have a good point. So if anybody in the audience have agree with Gayatri and Yash here that Plum Score looks like a reputation score is like a good way to manage a good behavior. But for this reputation score, what kind of exclusive stuff we should do? Please shoot away some comments here for us. Are you sure you have?
Yeah, I
Ah,
actually one of the biggest ones that I had was if you have a celebrity doctor who is where it's hard to get patients, then you've already segmented a user into a certain bucket of a high score user, and maybe the first for that doctor, if they have 12 to 4 open today, 12 to 1 will only be shown to priority users. After 1 p.m. onwards will be shown to other users. So maybe something like that where waitlisting uh, for a doctor. I think I see something similar in the comments. Priority access to GPs during peak time as well.
like
Uh,
a reduced wait time, right?
yeah,
Or
some exclusive uh, vouchers and health related uh,
Hmm. Gotcha.
systems.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Another couple of queries is as I was looking at the deck.
something
One,
to the previous thing.
Yeah. Go
Uh,
ahead, guys.
yeah,
we could
yeah.
also maybe incorporate some follow-up feature for just for those with a particular threshold of plum score. Not just one consultation, but like how it works. Maybe it's like general medicine first, and then maybe if they have a good plum score, we can transfer them to like a specialist. Like maybe make that process a little easier.
Hmm. Understood. And one maybe a couple of questions which I have. Just a moment. Um, could you share? There is one solution you folks have come up with, which is making rescheduling easy. Why
Yes.
why do you think making rescheduling easy is a solution to solve for cancellations? Because it to us it looks like that you're offloading one problem and creating another problem.
Okay. So we conducted a primary survey using a Google form, and one of the biggest reasons was, people book and then they suddenly remember it in between, like when they're busy, or they have an emergency coming up, or basically it's the audience segment we target is the busy bee. So maybe they've booked, but then like a week later something comes up, and the rescheduling usually, like the friction of moving between apps makes it less, like people have less incentive to like go reschedule, check it, fix a slot, so they just cancel, like the easier way out. So one, we have three features, notifications and all that, but the easiest one we've had is an automated call, in which like they can press one to reschedule, and then if they can press four, we'll show them all the possible slots available, then they can reschedule it in one go. That friction between apps is reduced. And it's this particular segment we are focusing on is the busy working professional.
Yeah, I think the we don't know whether this is the right solution, which is make rescheduling easy, but we really want to get to the core of uh, what is more important, health or your busy work time, right? So I think we're still looking at more solutions which attack this idea of busy in first principles way, rather than making this as another problem altogether. But otherwise your solutions have been really interesting, and some of these, like plum score is, or repetition score, is very thought provoking. So thank you so much, Gayatri. Just before you go, just tell us about you and Yash, and how did you come to collaborate on this together?
Okay, so I'm currently a student at IIM Indore, and the course I'm pursuing is called IPM, Integrated Program and Management. So basically, I just finished my, like everyone here, they're working professionals. I just finished my 12th grade like 7 months ago. I'm a first year student, and I'm from Cochin, Kerala. And both my parents are doctors, and my mom works in the government industry, government sector, and she does teleconsulting. So that's how we thought we could try this. And Yash was my classmate here, but he is All India Rank 1 for CUET last year, 2022. So he went to SRCC this year. So we studied for like 2 months together and became friends. So we started doing competitions together. So yeah, I think we're very young compared to the other participants here. We're just 18. So our solutions might not be feasible, but yeah, this is.
No, but
No, yeah. Actually, I wouldn't think so, because I was like, your solutions are very close to what I think about on a day-to-day basis. So I think some really interesting work
Thank you
done
so
by
much.
you. Yeah.
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you so much, Gayatri and Yash. Take care and keep winning.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Gayatri. Really appreciate this. Uh, Thanks so much, Saurabh and Anisha. Anything specific you'd like to talk to the audience about before you want to move to the backstage and discuss the results, or do you want to do that a little later?
Oh, we're done with all five?
Yes. You want some more? Happy to go in the next one.
Oh, so cool. Okay, let's go backstage and come back with the winner list.
Perfect. Let's do that.
Before we go there, do you want to pump up what is the winner? Like, what is the winner prize and all that? Do you have you shared it with everybody?
Let's do that. I think it coming from you would be more interesting. Uh,
One second. I thought there's some good prize money there, right?
yeah, I think.
Yeah, look, we're all clueless, but we have signed up for prize money here. So
Yes.
rest assured, there's some good prize money, but more than prize money, I think it's the celebration of problem solving, right? What we are all doing together here. So give us 5 minutes, we'll come back with the winners.
Hey, perfect. We have Saurabh and Anisha here with us with the results. I think we've been waiting. People have been waiting since a long time. Uh, Saurabh, you want to start with first what are the prizes they'll get, and then move on to, the results.
Like a nice bungalow in Bangalore. Who needs a bungalow in Bangalore? Uh,
I think the first prize is 20,000.
okay.
Second is 10,000, and the third is 5,000 prize money. So, awesome, exciting stuff for those who have lined up.
Okay. Cool. So
Perfect.
we have this, and um, people are excited. Please show some excitement on the comments. And Anisha, you want to kickstart? Should we announce the third
Yeah,
first? Okay,
yeah,
go for it.
awesome.
What we'll
So,
do is, I'll give you. What we'll do is,
Yeah,
once we announce the winner, we'll bring them up on stage, and then we'll go that way.
cool,
Hope,
works.
yeah,
awesome.
perfect, perfect.
Okay,
Drum
awesome.
rolls.
For folks, there's a reaction button down there. Uh, Whoever gives out the most reaction, I can see the analytics back there. Happy to give you a swig in the.
First of all, Alap, thanks for like really. We kept coming and checking if you're saying something while we were deciding. We know we took some time, but that's only because the decks were so like thought provoking, and we wanted to be as like logical as possible with the winners. So sort of made a quick framework as well, and we assigned points and did all of this in 15 minutes. But
That's amazing.
so basically, a third winner was super close. But congratulations, Yashika, on a great. Um, yeah, really good work. Sort of, if you want to bring up anything that you specifically like, we can.
Sure. So are you bringing Yashika on the stage, Alap?
Yes. Yashika, would be great if you can raise your hand. I'll bring you on the stage, and then Saurabh can take up. Yes, there we have Yashika here.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you so much. Thank
Hey, Yashika.
Really, I'm very, very grateful for this.
No, absolutely. I'll just highlight some of the good stuff that you have done. So we really liked the that you stressed on how with nudges we could improve some behavior, and especially around mental health as well, where some of the uh, stigma associated requires behavioral change, and nudges is a great way to do that. We
Also,
really
yeah, a very good way to think of look at speciality, which was the highest cancellation speciality after GPs was mental health. So that was not everyone used that data. So good one on that.
Yeah, and another solution that we really liked about this from Yashika was around a welcome video from a doctor. We thought it's very easy to record a doctor's video, a generic doctor's video, a doctor introduction video, and then especially for first time users, we could send them. First time teleconsult users, we could also send them where a doctor is introducing them. Right, it's a very nice and a easy hack to do as well. We also liked that you tried countering no to self medication. A lot of people are big Dolo fans, and we have to discourage that. It's also something which improves also that the people should talk to doctors and not deter away from that. We and then there were a couple of points around reminders and automatic call opt out, so which we thought was a common basic thing that everybody came up, but you also did not miss that. So here you go, Yashika, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Super
Thank you.
excited for this. Uh, we'll be in touch with a lot of things in the future. Uh, and I'll get you off the stage now. I think we'll move on to the second winner.
Yeah, yeah. So second in line is Arbia. Congratulations, Arbia, for again an insightful, interesting presentation and great use of data. Some, I think, PM wins or PM hacks that we saw right in the beginning is prioritizing really well. Like you looked at the low hanging fruits. And you really drill down on some quick low hanging fruits that we could actually use. Um, a couple of other things that I think the patient scoring one was also something. Your framework for patient scoring was on point, which we really liked it. Um, and also, there was something about the query, like asking a query before doing the consultation, which we see a lot of value in that. Um, And yeah, I think even the other solutions that you had, like adding content and minor like, UX improvements, were basically ways to like do incremental improvements in the product, which is always a good way to keep users on the app
Yeah,
continuously.
yeah. Just to add one more part, which is I think she made the doctor's profile
Mm.
as real as possible. So it was not just like, hey, 4-star rating or something, but she created a doctor's detailed landing page, and it was very clear to us what all should be the core components of those, including patient reviews. So that was cool. So Arbia, are you here, or should we just celebrate you virtually?
I think she's here.
Hi, thank you so much, Anisha and Saurabh. I was literally not expecting when I heard the name of Anisha. Sorry, Yashika. I was expecting I could only get third position if I would get, and I was just thinking I'm not going to get any position now. So it was like a surprise for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, believe in
Congratulations.
yourself. I think we really like the simplicity with which you approached, and a lot of solutions in this world are simple and elegant. So kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
The interesting thing is, I had a drum with me. I have a djembe with me. I would have played it, but I can't stand up right now and go and bring it.
Why can't you stand?
Because it's a thing for the host to be in the frame all the time. Otherwise, I would have had it earlier if it wasn't that. But
Nice. We'll do virtual
we'll make
drums.
sorry.
We'll do virtual drums. Virtual drums.
Woo, we have the virtual drum here
Hey,
to
Perfect.
announce the winner,
Yes.
and
Sugato, you had a very, very compelling thank you for bringing forth the solutions, which was very comprehensively thought through with solid frameworks and good design. The crossover in your disciplines is also really interesting for us to know and see. So, thanks for bringing that up front. Couple of things maybe that we can specifically highlight. One second. Let me just quickly go to your deck. But if you wanna
Allah, bring Sagado on the stage, dude.
yes, I've asked them to join. I think yes, yes, yeah.
Hi, hi. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Hi. I'm sorry, I had to just step away, and I was just in the middle of a pizza party.
Pizza party. Wow.
enjoy
He
the
already
Please.
had started even before he won because he knew he was going to win.
Now you have to throw the pizza party, right? You will pay the cash.
Yes.
It's a homemade pizza party, I'm afraid, with my 2-year-old.
Awesome. Hey, so
Yeah.
we really liked some of your solutions because one, I think the user profiling that you did and you mapped your solutions to the user profile, that really stood out to us. Maybe like a thing, something across decks that we saw is that we do not see user profiles getting linked to solutions much, which is the basics of UX because you need to know who you're designing for. So that was really good thinking, and that's why I think. That brought in a lot of sharpness. I think there was intelligent overbooking in terms of like the entire way in which you're creating this framework to identify who are these users. I think that was a pretty interesting one, and a very curated pre-appointment engagement was also something that I think was a pretty compelling solution as well.
Thank you. I mean, I'm so impressed that you made a framework out of it. It's like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too good. But really, thank you so much. I'm humbled by your words.
Yeah, just to add is Sugato, you're a great storyteller. So and especially in product where you have to work with different teams. You're working you're solving customer problems, you're liaising with engineering teams, design teams, business teams. Um, I think an ability to portray the customer's pain point as a story and then move, what we call here at Plum is move the mountain by gathering the village around it. I think it's a very powerful ability, and we wish you all the best, and keep honing your storytelling. And you've done a great job today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, Sugato. Really appreciate
Thank you,
this.
Alap.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Saurabh and Anisha, for joining us today. I think it was an amazing 2 hour stint. Uh, we'll sign off. I think people had a couple of questions in the chat. They asked me if they could ask you, but I think we are a little over time. So we'll skip this. Probably you can, Saurabh, Anisha, what are the best ways to reach out to you? What are like LinkedIn, Twitter? People can reach out to you for any questions they have.
Yeah, please reach out to our LinkedIn, our Twitter. You could search for Anisha Plum. You could
Yeah.
search for Saurabh Plum on LinkedIn. You will come across.
Yeah.
Reach out to us over Twitter. Same, you could search it on Twitter. Anisha is very soon going to do a Twitter thread on how to be a great PM. So watch out for that and follow her
No
as
pressure.
well.
No pressure, Saurabh.
So awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone, for joining in.
folks, to host us. It was a great learning experience for all of us. You all folks who participated, 150 of you, you're all winner. In the spirit of participating, in the spirit of problem solving, and we have got tons of ideas, and we are going to go and implement it.
Yep, and I do really want to acknowledge that there are a lot of entries that came in, and there were some really interesting patterns that we picked up from those two, which also validates the way we think, and also some interesting solutions that did come up from some presentations that were not shortlisted. So keep doing what you're doing, and good luck.
And just
Thanks.
before you close, Alab, once again, hey, Sugato, if you are here, hit me up on LinkedIn. We should chat, dude. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining in. It was amazing. We'll see you next month with the next teardown. We are kicking off something else as well again tomorrow. That is the product led growth coach. Feel free to sign up for the session with Shreyas Doshi. And I'm Alap. I'm the volunteer at TPF, and I'm signing off for the day. We'll catch up Saurabh and Anisha at the backstage for a couple of minutes.
Sure.
Bye, everyone.